Hey guys, what's up? This is Casey,
And Coach Tom.
and this is Shot Science Overtime number 191.
Amazing. I can't believe that.
Yeah, so we do these live shows on Sundays at 1 p.m. Pacific time. If you don't want to sit around and talk to us about basketball for a little while, and you want to watch the short tutorials, go check those out. Those are in our video library. If this isn't for you, go ahead and check those out. But we're going to have a little chat with people that want to hang out, and we'll have a topic that we're going to talk about at the top of the show that we think is something that will help you guys be a better basketball player, maybe cut out some of the learning curve, and make things maybe make life a little bit easier on you because other people have done some of the hard work on that stuff. But while we're doing that, you guys are sending us questions. So anything basketball related, shooting, passing, dribbling, defense, how to talk to your coach, athletic training, whatever, send that our way, and we will do our best to answer as many of those questions as we possibly can. It's better to get them in early. If you get them in early, we'll get to as many of those as we can. If you wait till the end, that's usually not the best idea because there's usually too many questions. We also want to ask you guys to follow us on all our social media stuff. So Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, whatever. We are Shot Science on all that stuff, doing different things in those different places. And also go check out shotscience.com where we have all of our training gear, our official t-shirts. You can also get the all access pass where you get in-depth tutorials that go even further in depth than the stuff that we put on YouTube. Right. And we'd love to have you guys check that out. So shotscience.com.
Right.
Okay. So our topic for today is why you keep fouling. And that's one of those things where sometimes people get in these situations where they keep getting in foul trouble and they don't necessarily know why.
Yeah.
And they feel like the ref is the problem or somebody else is the problem. Sometimes it's not the case. A lot of times it's you. And so we want to kind of address some of the things that you might be doing if you find yourself in that situation. Yeah. And if you're not one of those people that fouls a lot, maybe you can listen to this stuff and you can help somebody that you know that falls into that kind of trap all the time.
Yeah.
So let's jump into some of that stuff.
Okay. All right. One of the things that a lot of inexperienced or young players kind of think about, let me back up, that they get involved in is dealing with steals. Okay. And they think that steals are something that you have to be able to do to be an effective defensive player. Well, they are important because they're changes of possession. But one of the things that happens is that we tend to do an awful lot of reaching on offensive players, and the reaching in is going to draw your fouls. And so what we always talk about is we want to play defense with our feet first. And if we're going to get any kind of a steal, that it comes from a deflection from somebody else tipping the ball that we can take care of it. Or if we tip the ball and one of our teammates is able to take care of it, but we're not reaching.
Yeah, so, I mean, a lot of times, too, when you are playing defense and you're trying to get the steal and you're reaching in and doing all that stuff, you don't even have to touch the guy to get a foul called. Yeah. It just looks like a foul because you're reaching in there and maybe the ref is shielded or they're not looking directly at what's happening or whatever, but it can look like a foul even if you're not touching them.
Absolutely.
And here's the other thing that we always talk about is that a lot of time, or most of the time, when you get a steal, it's not off of poking the ball away from a dribbler or a ball, somebody that has the ball.
Exactly.
A lot of times, or most of the time, it's from people that are passing the ball and you intercept it in the air or you deflect it in the air.
Exactly.
Even the greatest people, or the great defenders that are known for getting steals, they're not typically poking the ball away from guys. That usually only happens a few times a game, if that.
Yeah, true.
Most steals are off of deflections of passes.
Yes, exactly right. And when we do a lot of that reaching in, we also it comes with kind of a downstroke, and you put that on the arm, put it on the hands, put it on the ball. But the officials oftentimes will call you. When you put it on the hand or the ball, they'll just call it. And so one of the things that we teach our players is that anytime we're reaching for the basketball because they've put it in a position maybe where we think we can get it, it's always from underneath. We're not down and on top of the hand, but from underneath. You can take, and you very seldom ever get a call on that because that's just a short upstroke and you're trying to get your hand under the ball so you can pop it out. But generally speaking, that's going to be getting you in trouble, just the reaching, okay?
And if you guys will look at the theme of what we're talking about, a lot of times it's just doing things that look like fouls.
Yes.
And that's unfortunate, but that's something you kind of have to rein in if that's a problem you have. Also, we got people in the chat that are asking questions and stuff like Bulldogs, Joe Mosher, Marquise Mixon. Awesome. Keep sending us questions, and we'll get into those as soon as we can. Tell your friends and family to check us out, because that's gonna really help us with these live shows. Okay, so another one.
Okay.
So blocking shots.
Yeah, if you take a look at our videos on how to block shots, we talk about the fact that you want to go right straight up. We call it in the cylinder, and go right straight up, and you're not reaching in. It looks really great if you're watching one of those NBA games, or maybe even a college game, and somebody goes up for a shot, and here's this guy swings across it and knocks it into row 13. That all looks so exciting. But what happens is that oftentimes you're going to get a piece of that guy that's got the ball in his hand, and it's going to be a foul for you.
Or you don't even do that. It just looks violent.
It does. And the thing that we really like is the fact that we're in that cylinder, and we go straight up, and we're trying to get a hand in the way of the shot, or get a hand on the shot, but we don't want to have contact with the shooter at all, because you just take a look at the NBA playoff games this year. How many games had players who were fouled beyond the three-point line, where and several of them were 4-point opportunities, and the game can really swing in a big game like that if we're blocking those shots. And part of what happens is that when we're trying to block shots, what happens is that we jump and we carry into the person who's shooting, and so we get ourselves a foul there.
Yeah,
so,
and you, if you look at that video that we made on how to block shots, you'll see that blocking a shot is not about the drama of it.
Yes,
you don't get points for that.
Yeah.
What it's about is deflecting the ball so that it doesn't go, or it doesn't have a good chance of going in the basket.
Right.
And there's other things that you get opportunities with if you do that approach too, and that is you might gain the possession of the ball.
Exactly.
If you go up there and you spike the ball into the third row, you basically give the ball back to the other team.
Yes.
And other than any kind of demoralization they feel for getting blocked like that, no skin off their back.
Yeah, they got the ball back.
Yeah. But if you can go up, and this is something Bill Russell always talks about, if you can go up, block the shot, and get the possession, you have just taken everything away from them.
Well, and it's a possession that you gain and they lose.
Yep.
So that's really important for you.
And you're not going up and doing something that looks like a foul.
Yeah.
Because there's so many times where you will go up and you will block a shot, and you'll do that big swing. You'll not get any piece of that defender. It looks like a violent foul though, and you get and the ref will call it. And it's just because of how much is going on.
Yeah.
So the second thing is, don't go up swinging at the ball.
Yes.
You will get a foul called. It almost is just a matter of time. And this is especially true with people that aren't like huge, giant super athletes, because we're in closer contact with the people that are taking the shots.
Yeah.
If you're 7 feet tall and you're going and doing that, and you're jumping from 10 feet away from the guy that you're guarding, that's a lot of space that you can cover. But if you're like regular people, you're usually going to be in closer contact with the person that you're guarding.
And once again, those are turnovers that you don't want to give the other team. They've already got the ball, and you go up and essentially foul them. They maybe get to go shoot free throws, and they still got the ball. So.
And okay, here's another one. This is maybe one of the last ones we'll talk about, but it is playing aggressively and not being subtle about the contact you're creating and using. So that means like if you're going up for a shot, or if you're getting a rebound, instead of just a gentle bump or moving somebody off with like a little nudge, maybe you're taking your hands and you're shoving,
especially from behind,
or holding.
Yeah.
And doing things like that are not smart.
Yes.
If you use things like your elbow and your arm extended, this is a lot less obvious than doing this.
Yeah.
This is a foul. This almost never is called.
Yeah.
Even a little chicken wing like that where you bump a little bit.
Yeah.
Not gonna be called. That'll be called.
Well, the only time too, if you're using the arm bent like Casey's talking about, is if you allow this arm to straighten up like this. Then you probably are going to be called for a foul on that. But just having the bent arm and just giving him a little bump really helps. And we teach everybody that when you're going for lay-ins and the person's right with you, we want you to reach in, lean in, and give them a little bump. That creates space for you to get that shot.
And another one too is like if you're going up to rebound and you're blocking somebody out, if you have your elbows out and you have your hands up, you will almost never be called for a foul.
Yeah.
If you put your hands back
And
or hold or do anything like putting your hands like back like this, where you're holding somebody back or even holding back with your other hands, that will be a foul.
Yep.
Keep your arms up, your elbows out. You are, that long across, and then you have these sharp elbows they have to get around.
Yeah.
You will be just fine.
Yeah, very true.
And so, and also putting a body on somebody, low leverage is good.
Yeah.
Footwork is going to be important. But if you're just going in there and you're blasting somebody and you're not being very refined or subtle about it, you'll get called. But you can get away with a lot of contact that you create without getting a foul.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So hopefully that's interesting stuff for you guys. If you are having problems fouling people, a lot of times those are the situations.
Yeah.
If that doesn't apply to you and you're still fouling people, let us know in the chat, and we'll try to see if we can jump in on and help you with that.
Absolutely. That'd be good. That'd be good.
Okay, so let's close that down. Let's start jumping into answering your guys' questions. Excuse me. But before we do that, we want you guys to go check out shotscience.com. You can get all of your Shot Science official shirts.
Yep.
You can get the training gear, like the vertical jump box, which is a training kit to help you train your vertical jump and your general athleticism. And check out the All Access Pass, where you can get really super in-depth tutorial stuff that goes even further than what we talk about here on YouTube. But before we get into answering your questions yet, we have a question for you guys, which is our question of the week that we ask every single time. We build it up with big time drama. Coach Tom can barely wait to ask you guys this question. Okay. And that question is this:
Where in the world are you located?
Yeah, where are you guys? Where are you guys from? We are in Santa Cruz, California, which is south of San Francisco on the coast of California. And we want to know if you are from Maine, if you are from the UK, if you are from Morocco, if you are from Greece, if you're from
Lithuania. Okay.
Lithuania. Yeah, there's our friend Glick-CSGO from Lithuania. Awesome.
All right.
Lithuanians are big-time basketball.
Big-time basketballers, yeah.
Just like the Philippines.
Yeah.
I mean, those are two groups of people that just are all about basketball, so it's awesome. Let's see here. We got let's go up here. We got Christian Thompson, who's here all the time, who's from the Bahamas.
Okay.
We have first name, last name from Toledo, Ohio, who's here a lot, I think. We have NBA 3Ks from Greece. There was another one you said. Cole Quimpson from New Jersey. Marquise Mixon from the U.S. Richard Takyar, who's from California, like we are. Patrick Garza, Dallas, Texas. Rocky Solomon is from Oahu. Kevin Kolev, our buddy from Ireland. COD Neo 45 is from France. Justin Howell is from New Jersey. Magic Kid is from Ireland. Awesome.
All right.
We do have a few people from Ireland that show up, which is crazy because
really cool.
I don't think Ireland is a big basketball place.
Well, I understand though that basketball is really growing there.
Yeah, and maybe Magic Kid is one of those people that's helping that happen.
That could be.
Okay, so if you guys have more, if more people want to tell us where they're from, we'd love that, and we'll shout those out as they come. Oh, here's Batman Robin, who says, "Hey guys, a fan here from the Philippines."
All right, welcome.
Awesome. Okay, so let's go back up here and let's start jumping in. Oh, Bulldog says, "Hey from sunny northern Michigan." Awesome. Right. Okay, Joe Mosher says, 1-2 step into your jumper or 1-2 hop into your jumper, and why? Thanks from Halifax, Nova Scotia.
All right.
Gosh, this is gonna be an intense rant because this is something that we are very strongly in favor of one over the other.
We teach everybody that we want to step into our shots with a 1-2 footwork, and we actually refer to those as stop foot and gather foot. And what we want to do is, if we are, let's say, on the left wing and the basket is to our left side and we receive the ball, we want to take what we call a rhythm step, which is a short little step toward the basket while the ball is in the air. And that way we're getting ready to shoot it before the ball arrives. And as it gets to us, then we bring the gather foot around, which is the opposite foot, and that helps us get ready to shoot. We also want to be in a staggered stance with our shooting foot forward of the non-shooting foot. And the reasons, okay, that's really important. Number one, it gives us a certain rhythm and to the shot. but it also allows us to control the balance.
Well, hold on. We're going through things way too fast. So
Okay.
the rhythm is super important.
It is.
And
It
if
is.
you are doing things like this 1-2 step into the shot, you are generating all the rhythm you need for your shooting.
Yes, exactly.
You don't need to do anything extra. You don't need to do any dipping of the ball. You don't need to do any kind of jumping into it. That 1-2 step is going to be all the rhythm that you need.
Yeah.
And it will also get your feet into the right place because you'll be rounding the off to the shot.
Right.
And they'll get into the place that you need. Also,
And you're going to be stable.
yeah. Well, hold
That's
on, I'm
really
not there
important.
yet. Hold
Okay,
on.
all right.
And so I lost my train of thought. But yes, okay. So the 1-2, and one of the misconceptions is that people think that 1-2 means you need to take a step, pivot on the other foot, then go down, and then go up. That is garbage. That is not a 1-2 shot or 1-2 step into the shot. 1-2 means that foot comes down, 1-2. 1-2, and you're basically in the air as both feet come down.
Yeah.
It's not something where you put one foot down, then the other foot comes around. That's like the slow motion discussion of it.
Right.
It is a 1-2, and it's faster than hopping into the shot.
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's talk about balance on it.
Okay.
When you are going up into your shot, you are going with vertical or with horizontal momentum. You're running towards the ball, or you're stepping towards the ball, or you're stepping into the shot. You're not standing in one space. So you need to translate that horizontal momentum into vertical momentum.
Right.
So that is why we have that inside stop foot, where you are stopping that momentum from going horizontally.
We're stopping most of the momentum, maybe not all of it. But then when we come around with the...
So then the gather foot comes around, and then that's going to provide you with the kind of jump start into your vertical momentum. So if you're trying to do that hopping into a shot, you have to hit 2 points of contact at the same time and stop that horizontal momentum.
Yep.
That's really hard to do.
It is hard to do.
And one of the things that also makes it difficult is that you are going from a position. Let's talk about the hop first. You're going from a position where you are here. You have to hop in, so you're going from low to high to low, right?
And then jump again. Yeah.
And then jump again. When you're coming in a 1-2, you stay low, and you are stepping in 1, 2,
And
up. So it's going from low to high. So instead of going low, and then high again, you're going from low to high. You're cutting out that extra jump that you have to do, which moves your center of gravity an extra time.
Yep.
And that's not something that you want to do. That'll change your balance. So again, you need to be able to stop that horizontal momentum,
Yep.
and you need to be efficient in utilizing that kind of where your center of gravity is.
Well, yeah, okay. Now, if we go back here and let's address Joe Mosher real
And the other,
quick.
hold on, but the other thing is this too, is that you are still able to use a pivot when you are
yeah.
doing that too.
Yeah,
When you
absolutely.
hop into a shot, you basically have given that up.
Yeah.
And it looks like you're going to take a shot. The 1-2 step, you can run an audible as soon as or anytime during that step. If you take that first stop step, you can assess and see, oh, well, that's not good. And you can take a step and go back and go past them, right?
Right.
Or a jab step or something.
Attack them, or jab step, yeah.
So there's so many reasons why to use the 1-2. The hop is just, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, one of the things you'll find though is that you'll be in situations where you have to do that.
Sometimes that's true.
And
yeah.
we are not people that would say you should never do it under no circumstances, whatever. You will be in circumstances where you probably have to do it, but it is best to use the 1-2 as your primary.
Right.
Hopping in should be kind of a last ditch effort to get a good shot, but it's not the best, most efficient approach to shooting.
Absolutely true.
Okay, and we're big on footwork.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't say this to you guys without evaluating every aspect of it. Yeah. We work with people that are physiologists and have backgrounds in exercise science, like my brother Chase. I mean, we all have come to the conclusion that is the best approach to it.
Yeah.
And we've run the high-speed camera, and we've seen which is faster and which is slower. The hopping end is slower, and there's all these other kind of cons that we've come up with as well.
Yeah, well, let's not go away from that just yet. One of the things that we really do too is we want to get into our shot earlier. Let's say that we're going to catch the ball on the wing, and we take that first rhythm step, and the rhythm step is a short short snap. And the ball, as we're doing that, the ball is on its way, and we make the catch, and we turn, and we're right into the shot. We actually are shoot first people. And, you know, a lot of coaches aren't. They like to take and move the ball around and maybe get people, the defense to move. And what we think is this, is that if we've got a shot there because we were very efficient in getting it ready to go, we want to take it. Okay. And if we tell somebody, okay, we don't want to take that shot, we want to take this one over here. And so we'll come into it and we're looking like we're going to shoot it every time, and then we'll reverse the ball, or we'll do a little up fake and drive the basketball. But the thing that's really important is that we don't buy the whole idea of the triple threat anymore.
Okay, we're not going to get into that, though.
No, we're not going to get into it. But we feel like what we this particular motion that we're talking about is catch and address. That's the name that we have for it. Catch it, address the basket right away, where we're ready to shoot it.
And the other thing is that we want efficiency. We hammer that home on everything, especially your shooting mechanics. If your shot is not efficient and repeatable, you're not going to get good accuracy out of it.
Absolutely.
And 1-2 is efficient because it takes care of rhythm generation. It takes care of transferring that horizontal into vertical momentum. There's so many reasons to go with that. So hopefully that kind of convinces you. You can watch all of our other videos and you can see kind of what we talk about on
I hope
stuff.
we haven't worn Joe out on that one.
Yeah, well, you hit a button on us for that one for sure. Okay, Marquise Mixon says, what are some workouts to make me jump higher? Go check out all of our vertical jump videos that we have here on YouTube. You can take it a step further and get the all access pass at shotscience.com. We also have the vertical jump handbook that you can download, and that's kind of what we would suggest.
Yes, absolutely.
We could get into each particular thing, but that stuff already exists.
Yeah.
Let's see. This is from Deets, our friend from Lithuania, who says, "Hey guys, I'm back today with a question. I live in Lithuania and I want to study in the USA next year. When I need to start writing? When do I need to start writing to universities? Yesterday.
Yeah, as soon as possible. Yeah, and you know, one of the things that is really important, and I think maybe we've addressed this in the past, maybe you didn't hear this. If you're going to be wanting to come to the United States to play basketball, what you really want to do is have a demonstration video that you can send to people who seem to have some interest in you. In that video, don't just make it all clips of you looking like old world.
Highlights.
What you want to do is take maybe 5-10 minutes and just have you maybe showing what you can do, and then send at least maybe a quarter of you playing in a game where they can follow the whole flow and what you do on a regular basis. And the thing that is important is find out what schools you think you might best play at. We can't know because we don't know you, but one of the things is there are several levels of basketball, college basketball.
Don't need to get into the
hang
levels,
on. Hang on. And I'm just going to hit them real quick. There's Division I, which is probably the toughest one for you to break into. Division II are a lot of people who don't really make it in Division I can make it in Division II. Then there's Division III. And then you can go to NAIA, and there's 2 divisions there, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a lot of places to play. Don't just figure that you want to come here and the only thing you're considering is Division I, because that may not be a fit for you. So you want to do some research on that.
Cover your bases is the major thing.
Yep.
You know, you can send your tapes to Coach K, and maybe on the very slim chance that you are that incredible. But that's not a good thing to do. You should send it to maybe some pie in the sky schools, and then some that are kind of more realistic, and then some that are just like maybe fallbacks.
Don't expect you're going to get a lot of responses.
Yes, I would send out dozens and dozens and dozens of these emails if you can.
And what you may find is that maybe 6 people will get back to you because maybe they're
lucky.
They're looking maybe for somebody like you. And, you know, your country, we were talking a while ago near the beginning, your country is a basketball country, and they are known for that. And so people would probably look at you a little different eye there than maybe they would from someplace else that does not have such a developed basketball program.
Yeah, well,
nationwide.
One of the things too is that, a lot of times programs are looking to be more international and diverse and stuff like that, which is great. So that kind of is a plus for you. Also, when you do these type of things, you want to be, I guess not arrogant, but kind of assertive. You want to make sure that you're not like downplaying who you are or anything like that. You want to make sure that you are presenting yourself as you are. The little highlight clips are good. The half of like your best half of basketball that you can find, that's always good to send to them. Maybe even some testimonials attached to the end of that video too.
Sure.
Make it something. Don't make this video for yourself. That is one of the problems that people do all the time. They make these videos where it's highlights with like crazy transitions that they found in iMovie, and then they add on like this heavy hardcore rap music and stuff. Consider who the person is that is going to be watching this. Yeah. It's probably going to be a coach who's a generation or two older than you. They might not necessarily like the things that you like. So make it for them, not for you.
Yeah. And
okay.
Good luck, by the way.
Yeah. Christian Thompson says, "Hey, Shot Science, my team won the tournament." Awesome.
All right. Cool.
I think you were talking about that one last time.
All right.
This is the name that gets me all the time. Lee Akisaki, who says, "How can I defend a taller, stronger player?" You got to just play them the way that you would play anybody else. You can't approach them that much differently.
Well,
I think that you respect them a little bit, you play off a little bit, but you still do the same things. Deny them the ball. Don't let them get the ball. Play tough. Play physical. I mean, that's really the best that you can do.
Yeah,
right?
it really is. And one of the keys to defense really is how you use your feet. And not enough people really use their feet very well on defense. One of the things that we used to do years ago defense is that in practice every day we had a session where we went one-on-one, and we did this for a half an hour every day. We went one-on-one with a group on this side and switched to the other side, just back and forth, one-on-one. And you could not play with your hands. Your hands had to be behind your back. And grab hold of your shorts, and so you were playing with your feet. What happened is that we began to move our feet really well, and we defended really well because you could never get around us or get by us. And so footwork is really a key. And Casey's point here, which is really key too, is that if your player can't get a hold of the basketball, then they can't really be much of a threat to you. And so learn how to deny them the basketball. If they're a post player and they're pretty good, we always front those post players.
Yeah.
And we front them in a particular style, which I'm not going to go into right now. But if they can't get the basketball, then they're not going to be able to be effective on offense with it.
Yeah. And, a lot of it is just don't let other people's attributes get to you.
Yeah.
Who cares? You have no control over it. You have control over yourself.
Exactly.
Okay. Ethan Davis says, "How can I perfect a pinning block using the backboard?" That's
pinning block.
Yeah, like pinning it on the
pinning
backboard.
it on the backboard. Well, why would you want to do that?
I mean,
that is all about ego when you do things like that.
You don't get extra points for it. The only reason
you get nothing for it.
The only reason to do it is if it helps you gain possession of the ball. Yeah. But other than that, it doesn't do anything for you.
It's one of those things that
I would perfect the timing of blocking the ball. Period.
Exactly. You don't have to pin it to the backboard, but just by blocking it and then recovering the block. That's way more important than pinning it on the backboard.
Yeah. And blocking the basketball is a lot about timing as it is. So if you're able to do that, that's really the hardest part. Yeah. This one is from LA 15-7 Mary 4, who says, "I host a b-ball Q&A with my son. How can I get him to stop using me to demonstrate fouls?"
You just got to be more strict with him, for crying out loud. Let him demonstrate, and you can hack him.
That's okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't know exactly how to respond to that.
That's tongue in cheek, I think.
Yeah. Batman Robin says, "Why is it when I play basketball against other people, sometimes I play really good, shooting, dribbling, more focus, but with certain people I play like I don't even know how basketball works?"
Well, it would be my guess that you're a little intimidated by those particular people. Maybe they're quicker, maybe they're stronger, maybe they shoot better than you, and so you feel a little intimidated, like you can't compete on their level. And we just had a discussion a few minutes ago with one of our players that was here for a lesson, and one of the things that we're talking about with him is his development of confidence in himself as a player. And you can almost see it happening over a quick period of time, is that he was this kind of a little bit afraid to do anything, and now he's stepping up and he's being more assertive in everything he does, and you can just see the building of the confidence for him.
Yeah, I think a lot of times people they get in their head about that kind of stuff, and they start to think about what is going to happen down the road or whatever. And one of the things that we talk about all the time is that you should not play in the past or in the future. You should play in the present. So you can't worry about what's going to happen while you're playing. You got to worry about right now.
Yeah. And not worrying about whether you pass or fail either. I mean, some players are going to be better than you are. You're going to be better than some others, okay? And maybe the ones that you play very comfortably with are ones that you kind of exert your confidence and assert yourself. And those where you don't feel quite so secure, maybe you're a little bit more cowed and you're not ready to step out. I would suggest this. You forget all that and play the same way with everybody. And you're going to lose some battles and you're going to win some battles.
Okay, this one is from Bulldogs, who says, watching Lonzo Ball, have noticed some quick one-handed passing. Is it okay to teach that to JV/varsity players? I think that this is one of those things where those kind of passes are a little sketchy because you can't pull them back, and it's basically as soon as you start them, you're committed to doing it.
Yeah.
And, obviously, good players get away with it more than players that have not worked on that stuff. Mm-hmm. It's just... Is it really I don't think it's necessary to teach that stuff because it's not like they're going to become proficient at it right away anyway, and it can get you into trouble. Yep. Lonzo Ball turns the ball over, because he does that stuff sometimes.
Yeah, he does.
And that's you'll see that with any player that does that kind of passing. I mean, I remember Allen Iverson. He would do that a lot, and he would get caught every once in a while doing that.
Well, Curry does it often himself, and usually they're the one-handed passes that kind of get him in trouble.
And these are like the passes where it's almost like it comes off, and it's not like a controlled one-handed push pass or something like that. It is like you're kind of doing a wraparound or a quick zip pass or something like that.
Well, I'll tell you, after many years of coaching at all levels in high school basketball, that's not something I would spend a moment on with my players. The thing that's probably way more important is all the basic passes and then having them pass a lot. That's probably one of the weakest aspects of high school basketball for both boys and especially girls is they do not pass the basketball very well. They give it away. They throw soft passes. They throw balloon passes that would take a half an hour to get one side of the court to the other. When in reality, if they're a little bit more crisp and more directed, and like Casey mentioned, that it's hard to take back a one-handed pass if it's somebody jumps in the middle of it. If I've got two hands, maybe I can hold on to it and not make that mistake.
And you can utilize your fake a pass to make a pass.
Yeah.
Those fakes are really important. You will get. I think it's better to teach quality passing.
Exactly.
And
teach different kinds of passes.
Yeah. Teach them how to do the fake a pass and make a pass. Teach them how to not telegraph and have to look directly at who they're passing it to. Tell them, the no look pass.
Yeah.
Tell them how to, I think it's more about control. Teach them control. One-handed passes like that don't really have much control.
Well, and they're fun to watch. I mean, I like watching Lonzo Ball play because he's got a really talented guy with regard to passing and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, but again, one of the things is sometimes we see these players come through that are particularly talented at these particular things.
Yeah.
The Allen Iverson crossover, the Ray Allen shot, whatever it is, and people want to like emulate that stuff. Yeah. But it's like those are people that developed in a vacuum. You can't do an Allen Iverson crossover like he does, and you don't necessarily have to be effective. You can do it with less risk.
Yeah.
Okay. These are some of the people that we talked to already. Kevin Kolev says Magic Kid is my brother. So there's two Irish guys there. Kevin Kolev and Magic Kid are brothers.
Cool.
Magic Kid said, I'm just starting and wondering how to bounce a ball. Well, we would send you over to our Dribbling 101 videos. And then after that, maybe check out the how to develop your weak hand and all the drills that are associated with that stuff. But the one thing that we will say about dribbling is this.
You make sure that you pound the basketball.
Okay, good.
I mean, that is one of the things that we instill immediately. And most of the people We give them a lot of grief over it. We call them petting the dog. They just are very soft, and those take so much time to get to the floor and back to your hand that people can step in, tip them away, and they're gone. So you want to pound the ball. That's really cool.
I was a little nervous. I was hoping that you would say that,
You
but
didn't
I was
think I would remember that?
well, no, I knew you remember it. I was just worried that maybe something else would jump in there.
Okay.
Christian Thompson says, "Is stomping or saying ah at the opposing player technical?" Who knows? It depends on the referee.
It really depends on how the referee, how he reads that.
Yeah.
And, you're not allowed to just take and intimidate a player on another team by shouting at them or faking at them like you're going to hit them or anything like that, because that will be called as a foul, okay? And if you do that a couple of times, you're probably going to be sitting on the bench. It's not something that we would say you would ever want to do. And here's another thing that's really important to keep in mind. That is not in the best
Sportsmanship.
not the best sportsmanship in the game of basketball. One of the things that we teach everybody is that we want to have respect for the game. And respect for the game means that we respect the rules. We respect players on other teams. Not everybody does that, of course, because they want to talk trash and do all that kind of stuff. But in reality, we want to respect the game and all the elements of it. The fans, the opposing coaches, the opposing teams, our own teammates. And when you begin to lose that particular vision of what the game is all about, and it is a game, then pretty soon you begin to disrespect the whole aura of basketball, and that's not something you want to do.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of it too is that you jump into this attempt at psychologically intimidating the other players, but you that affects you as well, because you have to put effort into that stuff.
Yeah.
So
that is not productive effort.
Yeah, and here's the other thing that it might not be popular, but the thing is that nobody here in this chat here, or really anybody that we know, and we know a lot of people that are basketball players, you are not good enough to be a trash-talking, psychologically intimidating person on the basketball court.
Truly.
You are not good enough, because there's people that are better than you, and you'll bump into those people, and they'll make you feel like a fool.
Yes.
And that's because you're trying to do those things to them, and it will not work.
Yeah.
And I know that I've run into those people when we used to play like traveling teams and stuff. And there's this one classic time where I know my dad remembers this, but I was in the 8th grade. And we were playing against another team, and they had a couple of like ranked kids on their team. And this one kid, we were kind of making life hard for him. And he was like, "Do you know who I am?" And I was like, "I don't know who you are." And he said, "I'm the number 6 ranked 8th grader in California," or whatever. And I just laughed at him, because then we went on to just destroy that team.
Yeah.
So, and he was trying the whole game to talk and do all that stuff, and it didn't matter. We just destroyed them. Yeah. And if you watch people that are super athletes like Michael Jordan or Larry Bird, those people can get away with that stuff because nobody is better than them. You are not good enough to do that stuff. And that's my opinion. But, I just feel like, why get into that? It doesn't help you ever.
Well, and I'll get back to what I was saying a while ago. That is disrespectful for the game.
Yeah, it is.
And your opponent, and should not be a part of basketball.
Yeah. And it makes you look like an ass, really.
Yep. Sure.
Okay, Batman Robin says, "What are your recommended lifts in the weight room for basketball? Main lifts, e.g. rows, bench press, etc." Okay, take it from somebody that goes to the gym all the time, grew up playing competitive basketball and gym at the same time. It's not worth your time.
Yeah, it isn't.
There's so many. I think conditioning and things like that are so much more important.
Yeah.
But it's more important to spend your time developing your skills than spending that time in the weight room.
Yes.
Because if you are spending any kind of valuable time to develop strength and muscles and things like that, that's going to take more time than you think.
Yeah.
At least an hour or more a day to get that to where you need it to be. Now, what if you applied that hour or whatever to your skill development? That's going to make you a better player, more so than developing this strength, this underlying strength. as you get older, like you become a varsity player or you get into college or whatever, then it becomes a little bit more important to have the maturity and the muscle mass and the strength and everything. But if you're a young player, don't waste your time doing that stuff. But you can work on conditioning things. Body weight stuff is great. There are lots of functional things for basketball. I think the best, though, is doing interval training.
Yes.
Where you are doing sprints and walks or sprints and jogs, because that mimics what you do when you're on the basketball court. And if you're able to kind of work in that framework, that's better. You can do push-ups. You can do air squats. If you go look at our vertical jump stuff, there's a ton of stuff in there that we think is important.
Well, why is it important? Why is that important?
Because
it's beyond vertical.
Because it's developing athleticism. It's developing stability and balance, explosion. And it does develop strength and power as well. But so many people get so caught up in, I need to go in the weight room and I need to be able to squat 300 pounds. Why?
Yeah. The ball only weighs about 10 ounces.
Well, that's not a good equivalency, but I know. Why? Yeah. That is not the best way to develop your vertical. It's not going to help you that much in moving people around. And if that's the case where you want to move people around, there's better ways to do that by creating space and being smart about it. So I just don't think it's the best approach to put too much emphasis on that stuff. Yeah. Okay. Patrick Garza says, is it okay to yell at people when you take a shot? I think it's funny. It's not funny. It's kind of lame.
It's not funny. It is really disrespectful. And we would encourage you not to do that. Nobody's going to be affected by that. You might think, well, they're going to be startled and maybe they'll miss their shot. Most people are pretty well focused on the basket or what they want to get done when they're ready to shoot. And unless you were to fire a gun off right beside them, they're probably not even fazed by that. And like I said, it's disrespectful to your opponent.
I would just say try that and see what your coach says and does.
Yeah, well, coach probably would be giving you grief if I was your coach.
I can't think of one coach that I had that would have been okay with us acting like that or doing that.
Yeah.
This is from Glick-CSGO, who says, I'm a big man playing at the center spot, but I usually play isolation, pick and roll, and I'm a good ball handler, and I don't like to play in the post, but my coach yells at me for that. Should I start playing power forward or start developing my post moves?
Why would your coach yell at you?
Because they're doing all these different things that are not generally thought of as just post player.
Yeah, well... Okay, well,
there's two layers of this.
Yeah,
one is that if you are playing on a team, your coach is going to decide where you play.
Exactly right.
And that's kind of just the way it is.
And it could be the difference of you playing and not playing.
And if you want to have a well-mannered discussion with your coach, you can say, Coach, is there any way that I can talk to you about maybe getting more time playing on the perimeter or doing something else where maybe I can play both positions or something like that, but not saying I demand to be put at the perimeter or what. That doesn't get received well.
That kind of demand probably will get you on the bench. But then we go here to the next one. He writes, or start developing my post moves. Yeah. We would really recommend that you start developing your post moves.
Regardless of who or where you play or anything like that.
Yeah. And the thing that is really kind of funny about that is there's not an awful lot of push to teach people how to make moves at the post, effective moves at the post. I don't think that's just general, but I think not enough of it is done there. One of our players who happens to be, he's going to be a junior this next year, he went to a tournament recently, and he's been working with us for about a year, and he's a 6'5" beast, and he plays around the basket, and he has learned about 6 or 7 different moves that he uses in the post. And after one of his games the other day, a person came up to him from another team, and he said, I really like the way you play old-time basketball. Well, really what he was talking to him about is the fact that he had the jump hook, he had the up and under, he had the spin move to the baseline. And when you begin developing more tools as a post player, you become much more of a threat to the other team. When you can catch the ball in there and you can't do anything with it, or if you put up some hokey shot, then they don't even worry about you anymore. They'll play behind you and let you catch the ball knowing that you can't do anything. What really is good is if you get the ball and now I'm going to get you. I'm
Yeah.
going to take and turn on the basket. I'm going to drop step, whatever it is. And so I would really encourage you, start developing at least a half a dozen post moves.
Yeah, well, I think that as any player, one of the biggest things that we push is that you should not be a position player.
Yeah.
You should focus on being a well-rounded, versatile player that can do anything and everything. It doesn't matter if you think that you should be a point guard or you think you should be a post player or a perimeter player or whatever. You should be able to do everything. If you're 5'2", you should be able to go in the post and play in the post and do as many post moves that are needed to be effective. You should be able to rebound. You should be able to do all that. Yep. If you're 7'2", you should be able to go out there, play on the perimeter, attack the basket, make your free throws, whatever it is.
Yep.
Be well-rounded.
Yep.
Don't worry so much about, well, I'm a point guard and, I'm going to try to fit in on this team, on this. That doesn't always work out.
Or your coach won't let me, he won't let me play the point guard position and I'm a point guard.
So be well-rounded.
Yeah.
Okay, because you will get pigeonholed if you kind of do that. If you can only do one thing, that's not great. This is from Rocky Solomon, who says, how do you finish with contact? What drill do you recommend to finish through contact, and what is an important thing to do?
Well, okay.
The important thing to do is to be the one that initiates the contact.
Right.
And
Well, let's back up.
Okay.
Let's back up. When you attack the basket, you want to take and get as close to your guy as you can. And most people want to avoid the defender by stepping around them. And what you do is you really help that person out in getting to the spot where you want to get to, because he's going to go straight line and you're going to bend it out. So what we do is we teach our players that we want to attack that person right through the leg on that side of the body. If I'm going to his left, I'm going to attack his left leg. And oftentimes that causes a collision, which is going to be a foul on him. But the other thing that happens is that often they turn their body to get out of the way, and we go right straight to the basket. And as we do that, they're going to stay with you. And what they will do, I'm going to just bring this arm up here like this, is what they do is they have got this forearm against your body, and they're trying to push you to the sideline as you go. And oftentimes you don't get called on that. Now, the offensive player should be doing the same thing, and we call that leveraging. So he's going to leverage me, I'm going to leverage him, and one of us is going to be successful usually. Then when we get right close to the basket and we're ready to go up, we just want to give him this little bit of a bump right here, and you can see us separate. When we get that kind of separation, then we're ready to put the shot up.
And then when you do that, you focus on the finish.
Yes.
So
Often.
Yes. So often people will go up and then they're like bracing themselves for more contact, or they'll throw it up there just because they think they're going to get a foul called for them. Not good. Finish, focus on the finish. You'll get the 2 points, and hopefully you'll get the foul called too. But if not, at least you've got those 2 points.
Well, in reality, you could be called for a foul as well. But when the only time that I think you're probably going to be called for a foul is when this arm gets up in here or it straightens out. That's when they're going to give you a call. But if it's just this little bump right here, you can't really see that on the screen, but it's just a little bump and you can see I separate, and that gives me the chance to get that ball off.
You don't want to lower your shoulder. You don't want to, extend or anything like that. It's about subtlety.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to lightning round this really fast because we got all these questions to get to. Joe Mosher says, great answer, guys. Thanks a lot. Thankfully, we agree on the 1-2 step.
Great. Thank you.
Brendan Lee is asking, how do we stop fouling and gain confidence to shoot on people? Stop fouling. Listen to the earlier part of this video later after it goes up. And then also to gain confidence to shoot on people, you got to work on your shot. It's got to be effective for you to have confidence in it.
Yeah, and the other thing is you have to learn how to create space. One of the things that is such a big problem with players, and I saw the nicest video the other day on Gino Ariyama. I think that's how you pronounce his name, from Connecticut, and he coaches the girls there. And he was talking about how some of his girls, when they come there, they don't know what is a good shot. Okay, and so he was kind of going through that, where they take these crazy shots. They're contested. They take a shot, they get blocked. And one of the things that he makes a point on is this: you shoot the ball. if you're open and you shoot it every time you are open. If you're not open and you can't create space to get it off, you should not be shooting the basketball. And oftentimes what happens is that we tend to shoot the ball when we're guarded closely, and you can't do that if there's not a shot there.
Okay, Big Buck 01X says, I'm 16, I'm going to be a junior. I'm 6'5" and I'm uncoordinated. Can I still get better?
You bet.
Yes.
You bet you can.
Work on your coordination. Work on your athleticism.
Yeah, and if you can, find somebody who you can learn from on how to develop all these different skills in basketball.
Start with footwork first. That is the best way. Start slow.
Yeah.
Put it all together, and that will really help. Phantom Reindeer says, I recently broke my ankle. Is there anything I can do to keep my skills sharp? Work around it.
Yeah.
So many people think that that's the time to just chill out and sit on the couch. Yeah. The great players are the ones that they're sitting in the chair. They're working on their ball handling there. Yep. Maybe they can get in and do some form shooting real close off of one foot. Sure. I mean, there's a ton of things you can do.
Yeah.
I'm humongous. That must be an H3H3 watcher. Fans of Ethan and Ela. How do you gain the confidence to be more effective on the court?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
You develop your skills.
Yeah.
And then you use them. One of the things that I find is that some of our students, we keep track of them on a regular basis, and we'll say, well, you went out and played this week, a couple of days. What did you do? I did okay. Well, that doesn't tell me anything.
Yeah.
What I really want to know is, were you able to get to the basket on people and then finish with a score? Were you able to create space so you get a shot? Just what is it that you are doing to help you get better? And when we start getting better in our skills develop, then the confidence grows.
Yeah.
And it begins to grow, and pretty soon you are fully fledged and you're ready to go. You don't do that overnight, but it may take you a little while to do it.
If you have confidence in your skills, you have confidence in the execution of those skills. So you have to work on building those up.
Yeah.
3 pillars of practice on those.
Yeah, look at
Christian Thompson, what?
we'll get there in a minute.
Christian Thompson says, is there an age to give up chances of making it into the NBA? Like, for example, a 15-year-old turning 16 going into grade 10 and hasn't made the team yet. Do you know any late bloomers who make it to the NBA? Yeah, but here's the thing. People make the mistake of these huge grand dreams, and they don't set these small stepping stone progressive dreams. You know, like, I'm going to make varsity, then I'm going to make my college team, or I'm going to go to college and make a team, and then I'm going to, that kind of stuff.
Well, let's back up here for a second. He's saying that he's turning 16 into grade 10 and hasn't made the team yet. Well, that should be number one goal.
Yeah.
That you need to make a team. And what's keeping you from making the team? And I would sit down, if I were you, and I would do an assessment of yourself. How come I'm not making these teams? Is it because that I am too short? I'm too heavy? I can't shoot? I can't dribble? I can't play defense? And then you look at those and say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to set out, and for the next month, I'm going to take and work on this, and this. And I want to take and grow my skills. And if you need somebody to help you, you need to find somebody to instruct you on how to execute these things. I can remember as a young guy myself, it took me about 4 or 5 years before I made a team. And I was a sophomore in high school before I made a team. And it's kind of funny how all of that happens, and here I am with a basketball history that's kind of long now. Not as a great player, certainly, but you work on getting better, and then maybe some coach likes that. One of the things that the coaches love is this. And who is that? What is his name again?
Christian.
Okay. The thing that is important here is coaches love effort. They despise lazy players. And so what you want to do, no matter how good you might be, if you're lazy, they're probably not going to give you much attention. But if you are an average guy who just plays your butt off every time you go on the floor, whether it's on offense or defense, every live ball that's on the floor, you're on it like a bad smell, and you're trying to take it away from everybody else. Effort really will get you a long ways. So that's where I would start.
Yeah, I would say that, set that small goal, do the little things that nobody else does. Yeah. Take initiative, be a leader, dive on the floor, support people. That kind of stuff is what coaches see a lot more than you think.
Well, now, if we go back to Michael Jordan.
Well, okay, but Michael Jordan isn't a good example.
Hang on. We go back to Michael Jordan, and there was a guy who was probably one of the greatest players of all time. and he got cut off his first or second team.
Well, he didn't make
school.
varsity.
Yeah.
We got it. But I was going to say somebody like Dennis Rodman. I don't think Dennis Rodman even played until he was in like junior college or something like that. But he did all those things that nobody else could do. Like he was a crazy rebounder, even though he wasn't the tallest guy or the fastest or quickest or anything like that. But he did things that the other guys weren't willing to do, and now he's a Hall of Fame player. Not saying that would be you, but again, set those smaller goals. Don't be, don't set a huge goal and then be disenfranchised because it doesn't look realistic right now.
Yeah.
Set the small goals and work towards something bigger.
Exactly. Ball skills and shooting really help you a lot. Okay.
Elson Link says, I found it hard to roll the ball off while doing a post hook. Any tips? Go check out our video on the jump hook or the sky hook.
Bruce has got a number of
excuse me, guys. Bruce says, I have a suggestion for a video, guys. You guys should make. Let us know. How to use and set picks. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Off ball movement as well. Okay. First one is, Bruce, we did do, we do want to do a how to use and set screens.
Yeah.
A lot of that comes down to timing and communication, but we will definitely have a series on that. Off ball movements, we do have a series on that. So how to move without the ball. If you check that out, we have the L cut, the V cut, the backdoor cut, and then we have other things like flashing in the post. What else do we have? Flare, things like that. Yeah. But there's several of those there that you can check out.
Hang on, okay, there you go.
And then he says, I've learned a lot from you guys, considering I've never played organized basketball, only pick a ball. Cool.
Great. I'm glad we could help you. That's great.
Maybe try out some organized basketball. Yeah. It's always interesting to jump into that stuff. Patrick Garza says, never again will I yell at an opponent taking a shot. Good. You don't need to do that stuff.
All right. That's how cool is that?
Humunga says, how do you get over failing an easy layup, dunk, or shot?
Okay.
You get over it.
Yeah, you forget it. We use this kind of little saying when people start to fret over that. That is yesterday's news. It has no impact on today or tomorrow or next week, and everybody misses it. I was reading an article the other day, and the article was, "What's the most commonly missed shot in basketball?" And it's the layup. Okay, because people don't spend an awful lot of time working on those when they're being contested, and so they don't finish them very well sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, the real thing is that what was I going to say?
I don't know.
What were we looking at? Oh, yeah, how do you get over fail? The thing is that, like we said before, don't live in the past, don't live in the future, live in the present. If you're letting something that you did a minute ago affect what you're doing now, how does that help you? And if you're worried about something that you're going to do in 5 minutes, how is that going to help you right now?
Right.
So it's really about living in the present, playing in the present, and knowing that anything else doesn't matter.
It's yesterday's news
or tomorrow's news.
Okay.
Patrick says, I've learned a lot we already did that. Thanks, Shot Science. Dio Brando says, do you have any tips for post defense? I'm not very tall, so it's difficult to defend when my opponent is taller. That guy.
Yeah.
Have faith in the help defense.
Well, how you front that person is really important. And one of the things that we like to do is we like to take and get in front of their body and turn ourselves so that we can face the basketball as well. But at the meantime, we've got one hand that is extended as high as we can reach. And one of the passes that players like to use when you're fronting one of their teammates is that little lob over. And so usually it's a soft play or soft pass. And so sometimes you can actually hit it and tap it away. Or if it goes over your hand, your help side players want to be right there so that he runs over them. And so you kind of keep them from touching the basketball. It's surprising how most players, when they're fronted, they don't know what to do anyway. And so by getting out and playing in front of them, that really helps you. Now, one of the things that coaches will maybe say is this, but there goes your rebounding. Hey, listen, this is something that probably every coach in the world knows, that 70% of the shots that come from one side of the floor, and your postman's probably going to be on that side of the floor, is going to go the opposite direction. So we never worry about that because we don't expect, if 30% of the passes come back, we'll live with that. If 70% of them are going to go to the other side of the floor. Shots, yes. And so we want to, those are missed shots for the most part. And so we just want to have that hand extended. If it's right here, they'll pop the ball over your head and your reach, and they'll lay it up. So we have to have full extension on that arm.
And get contact on them because they don't like that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so Rocky, Solomon, and Christian Thompson say thanks, guys.
You bet.
Thank you guys so much. If you guys want to help support Shot Science, go and get like a Shot Science shirt.
Oh yeah.
Or some of the vertical jump training stuff. Or
and what if they get one of those shirts?
If you guys get a shirt, or you get any of the training gear or whatever, and you post video or pictures of you on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, and you hashtag Team Shot Science, we see all of those because we look at that every single day, and we like to feature you guys that are doing that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
So
that'd be cool.
If you want to get featured on our Facebook page that has like almost 2 million people, or if you want to get featured on Instagram where we have like 60-something thousand people on there, that's the way to do it. And we would love to be able to kind of brag about you guys doing that.
Yeah,
so
right,
make it happen. You can get them at shotscience.com. Okay. Bruce says, thanks for answering my questions, guys. I'll check out those videos on off-ball movements. It's a little late for organized basketball since I'm 33, LOL. It's not adult league.
You're not. That's not too late. We have a student that's 65 years old.
Yeah, and you can go play in an adult league, and they have those in most cities and towns.
Yeah.
Oli says it's already Sunday again. Forgot it was, so I had no idea you were streaming.
You can still go back and watch it.
Okay, we're going to do these last two real quick. First name, last name says, when you go straight up for a block, should you try to catch the ball to gain possession? Just thinking out loud.
Yeah.
Yes, if you can.
Absolutely. And you can do that if you don't swing at the basketball. If you just go right straight up and you can test, you're right in front of the shooter's hand, and if you can get a little finger on it and just get a diversion, that may fall right back into your hands or one of your teammates' hands. And so that makes way more sense than going up there and whacking the ball and knocking it out of bounds where they get it back.
Well, it goes from the extreme of getting just a fingertip on it to grabbing the ball. Yeah. Either one of those is acceptable and good. Obviously, gaining the possession of the ball is the best scenario, but just tipping the ball changes the direction of the shot. Okay, I'm going to do these last ones real quick.
Okay.
Bulldog says, I see a lot of players squared up at the free throw line, yet angled when shooting at other times. Any ideas? Yeah. You want to have a slight stagger because your arm is not coming out of the middle of your body.
Exactly.
Let's see. Thomas McKenzie says, when I use the hammer to get by my opponent, I usually go overboard and I end up causing an offensive foul. Tips? Yes. Be more subtle about it.
Yeah.
Go back to that video and watch how it's really about kind of masking what you're really doing and getting that arm off without it looking like a foul.
Well, and we have heard from players here and there that when their hand ends up way above their hips in the back, that's when they get called for it.
Okay, Dio Yo-Yo says, I've tried almost every type of release, 4 fingers, middle finger, 2 fingers, and it doesn't work. What should I do? Index and middle.
These two right here.
These are the best way. It's 2 points of contact, and you'll have control, and they're kind of the ones that ergonomically come off last anyways. Yeah. If you try to do 1, no control. 2 points of contact, control.
Just think about throwing a baseball. You throw a baseball with 2 fingers. Okay, and those 2 fingers determine where the basketball's or the baseball's going to go. And shooting a basketball is pretty much the same way.
Bruce says, love your optimism. Keep up the great work, guys. We will.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
First name, last name says, sweet. You get a steal and a block at the same time. Yeah.
How about that one?
Awesome. Okay. So that's going to do it for us today, you guys. If we didn't get to your question, it's not because we don't like you. It's because we just ran out of time. Right. Bruce is asking, quick, where do I get a shirt? shotscience.com. And we will send you one ASAP. So if you missed out, come back next time. We'll have another one on Sunday at 1 p.m. Pacific time. You can catch us on all of our social media stuff. We're at Twitter, we're on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. You can get a hold of us on those places, and we're doing different things there all the time. If you want any of our gear, shirts, training gear, vertical jump stuff, all access pass, go to shotscience.com. Before we leave, we want to ask you guys our question one more time, and then I'll have another one that I'm going to think up right now. But our first question is,
Where in the world are you from?
Yeah, wow. Where are you guys from? We want to know where in the world you guys are from. And our second question is this. What is one thing that you are going to work on this week to become a better basketball player? What is one thing? Is it going to be blocking out? Is it going to be footwork for your shot? Is it going to be ball handling? We want to know exactly what you guys are going to work on. And we'll check in with you guys next time.
All right.
So thanks so much. Somebody's talking about my hair. Somebody says, thanks guys, looking forward to Casey's hair tutorial video. It's going to be really simple. It's just bzzz. Okay, so thank you guys. We'll see you guys next time.
All right.
Thanks for watching.
All right. Bye.